Hello, my name's Heather Regan-Addis from Beachcomber Meditation, and welcome to episode 3 of our podcast, where I'm going to be talking to Tracy Connor and learning a bit more about her. Now, Tracy's going to be working with Beachcomber Meditation on the retreats and weekends that are happening at Bridlington Links over the summer, and she's going to be doing some sessions on mindful crafting. Anyway, we'll maybe talk about that a little bit later. So, Tracy, good to see you. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good to see you too, Heather. Thanks. I'm good. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Oh, it's a funny question, isn't it? When somebody asks you to tell you about themselves, you sort. I've had quite a really full and interesting life. A big part of my life is for the last 35 years I've been a nurse. And for about 26 of those, I've been a Macmillan haematology nurse. So I've looked after people with blood cancers, which has been absolutely fantastic job, great privilege to work alongside and be alongside people when they're at their most vulnerable. It's just really been such a pleasure and a privilege, as I've said. Um, I am also a mindfulness teacher, and I have lots of interests, and I love being out in nature, and I love crafts, and I love music, um, photography. Uh, yeah, and I've got three elderly parents who I'm supporting a lot at the moment. So that's a big part of my life. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and we sometimes go to gigs together, don't we?
We do.
Yes.
Coldplay, yay!
Yeah. And we're going to Teddy Swims, aren't we, in a
We are.
few months' time? Yeah.
My nieces are very jealous.
Mm. Good. Well, not good, maybe. I don't know. Cool. Okay. So, Tracy, what was it that brought you to mindfulness and meditation?
From being a little girl, I've always been interested in what about like what's the meaning of life, which I know isn't 42, as in um, the wherever that comes from. I can't remember at the minute, but
Excited.
yeah. So I've always been like a bit of a seeker and interested in sort of spiritual things in inverted commas, and it was actually it was at a time when I was going through a lot at work. I was a staff nurse on a very busy ward. I'd also was my relationship with my husband was quite tricky because yeah, I won't go into details about that. But I just felt at one point I felt like I was really struggling with life and making sense of life, and I came across an organisation that I could go and spend a weekend in the Lake District, and it was for burnt out healthcare professionals. And whilst I was there, I just stayed in a little cottage, and there was like lots of books on the shelf, and I had just like a daily session with one of the counsellors there, and the rest of the time I was just left to my own devices to go walking and reading. And I came across this book, and it talked about mindfulness, and I thought, what's this mindfulness? Um, and uh, and then it sort of started me on a pathway of looking more and more into mindfulness, and I then read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and I remember thinking how amazing it was that it was part of our mind that could observe the other part of our mind. And then I began to see, oh yeah, I can see that, and how if I was able just to come into the present moment and really notice what was going on in my body, my sensations, emotions, thoughts, sounds, I felt really peaceful. So that was when I began my journey, and then about 13 years ago, um, I needed to do a master's degree as a Macmillan nurse, and I found out that there was a master's in mindfulness and compassion, and that was with the Mindfulness Association behind it at the University of Aberdeen, and that's when I really got into to mindfulness. And as you know, you were one of my teachers, one of my tutors, Heather, and so my practice then just became something that I did. It became part of my life, and here I am today, over 13 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, great, wonderful. And how has mindfulness and meditation helped you in your personal life and in your work life?
Oh, I just, I think mindfulness is the most important thing in my life in terms of my practice because of the difference it makes in my life. And the difference that it's made in my life is that I I know that there is a part of me that is always calm. There's a part of me that's always happy, and that no matter what is going on in my life, whether it be in my personal life or in my relationships or at work, if I can just come and be in this part of myself, which we do, is becoming present, um, it just enables me to not get carried away by the thoughts and the stories and all the emotions that can then just take you away and make you unhappy. So I just feel like there's a word that we use about it is equanimity, and it's about this sort of middle way of being where there's a calmness, um, and I feel that is where that is how my life is. I've been through a lot in my life. Broken, my marriage broke up after 30 years, and seeing a lot of illness in my family and through work and the stress and pressures of work. But I through what I've learned through being present and practicing mindfulness, it's like I have a way of being able to just cope with these things. Yeah, not be carried away by them. Yeah, it's quite hard to put into words, really, because but it's very profound, and it's something that I'll never stop doing, because it's part of who I am now, and it's how
Yeah,
I've found who the true me is. Yeah.
yeah. And could you say something a little bit more about the impact of compassion meditation?
I think the thing is, once you start becoming more aware of your thoughts, you start to recognise that there are involuntary thoughts that come into your mind. At first, you think that your thoughts are who you are, and when you start noticing these thoughts, you start actually thinking, "Crikey, I'm not actually a very nice person," and you might notice that you can be you're self-critical. Um, and so what what you learn alongside mindfulness is, and it's really important, is to actually be in that part of you that is always happy and kind and compassionate, because from that place you can offer that part of you that is um, experiencing the criticism, kindness and compassion. And actually, it's recognizing that that isn't the real you. The real you is the part that's watching. And also, when you start to, if you see yourself talking to yourself critically, you're much more aware of it, and you can just speak kindly to that part of you. So compassion is everything. It's everything. You can't to practice mindfulness without self-compassion, and it would be very destructive, I think. Yeah.
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 Thanks, Tracy. And what will your role be in Beachcomber meditation?
So I've always loved arts and crafts, and I've always made things from being a little girl. Things that my nannies taught me to do. I remember making necklaces out of the pips out of melons that had dried out and things like that, and yeah, we're always making things. And one of the things that I did when I was a bit younger was I actually in my holidays I taught crafts on a cruise ship because one of my friends was an agent for one of the cruise liners, and so what I'm going to do on these meditation days is just for an hour or so. I'm going to just give people the opportunity to make something or create something, uh, and to really connect with that part of themselves that is always that free young part of ourselves that love to play and make things. Because it's something that I find really rewarding and satisfying, and I know that it's in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be offering these sessions, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. Is there anything you've been making recently, creating recently?
Um, Recently, I've just been painting. I just doing free art and creating colours, and yeah, and I've enjoyed that. And the other thing that I really like doing is I've just got a ring with embroidery, an embroidery ring, and I just stitch randomly across through the it on this on the material, and I do it mindfully, and I just find it so satisfying. It's a lovely thing to do to feel the textures and to notice where my hand goes, and to feel the embroidery thread being pulled through the material. Yeah, so that's the couple of things that I've been doing at the moment.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Tracy. So, our first practice day is on the 20th of June, and it is at Bridlington Links, between Bridlington and Flamborough on the east coast of Yorkshire. And it's the Habits of Happy People. And as part of that, we'll be making a here and now stone. Can you say something about what a here and now stone is?
So the here and now stone actually comes from Chris Germer and Kristen Neff, and it's a practice um, that they devised, where you feel this stone in your when if you're out and about and you're walking around and you maybe feel a bit disconnected, or you're feeling upset about anything, you can just put your hand in your pocket and feel this stone, and as a way of like grounding. So that's where that idea came from. But what I thought, I'm going to get these lovely pebbles, and there are these amazing pens that you can buy they're like acrylic paints and you can do quite detailed things on the stones. So I thought if we could just have a bit of time together to just paint on these lovely stones with these lovely pens, and to see what we come up with. And then we've got our own here and now stone. Perhaps we won't carry it around with us, but we could put it maybe on our where we work, or on the kitchen windowsill, and use that as a focus every to look at when we're feeling discombobulated, and just help us to become present and look at the details on the stone. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really looking forward to making my here and now stone. I'm really looking forward to that practice day with you, Tracy. Yeah, thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
So this has been the Beachcomber Meditation Podcast with Heather Regan-Addis and Tracy Connor, and we'll be back with another episode sometime soon.